what you think maybe the most consequential thing we should be talking about right now is, as it relates to suffering and everything that's going on in society, what would that answer be?
I think it's AI, but it's not just AI, it's nanotechnology. It's how technology, the rapid change in technology, and if you don't believe it's going to destroy humanity, and it's going to liberate us from a lot of labor, if you believe that, the ones that promote that concept. If that does happen and we displace this many jobs in this short a period of time, jobs are not just money. Jobs are meaning. It's not the only form of meaning, but it's meaning. So it's like you talk about, well, give people UBI, and okay, I think you might have to because the change is going to happen so rapidly. Like I said, farming, 80% of us were farmers 150 years ago. Now it's 3% and we feed the world. That's a long transition. I think I mentioned to you off the air here, I was visiting with President Obama 10 years ago and towards the end of his term there. And I was saying, hey, I just got to talk to you. You inherited a pretty tough economy from the original 2008 explosion, breakdown. We lost 8 million jobs. So I said, there's technology coming right now that we can predict is going to displace more than those 8 million jobs. And I talked to him at that time I said, just take one, like self-driving cars. We were just starting to come out. I said, in the next 10, 12, 13, 14 years, they're going to become ubiquitous. And I said, there's 8 million truck drivers, Uber drivers, and taxi drivers. And are you doing anything to retool them? I said, because
just in the US.
Just in the US. I said, because if you don't, think about this. If I'm a business person and I can hire a person to drive a truck only 8 hours a day. I have to pay for the healthcare, which gets more expensive every year. They're going to bitch at me about things. And I can buy a truck that can drive 24 hours a day. And my insurance is cheaper because it doesn't make mistakes. And I can depreciate the asset. Am I going to hire anybody? I said, so those jobs are going to go away. That's 8 million. That's one sector. We could look at farming. I mean, there's so many industries affected. So I said, we've got to retool those people now, or there's 10 years to gear them up, because these are not people that are going to do it on their own, and they're going to be shocked. The shock to their system, the loss of dignity, of being in control, agency of their own life, of their own job, of their own direction is huge. And if you go back to like the Luddites, you're from the UK, right? You must know your history there. 1800s. Mercantile, they come up with these machines, and how did people react? And by the way, this story is the same across history. We have a radical change like this. All these people are displaced, and what did? They rioted. They took hammers and they destroyed those machines. They threatened to kill the owners of those companies, and some were shot and killed. They blew up and firebombed places. And what did the UK, do about this? They passed a law in the first year of this, these Luddites, saying, you destroy a machine, it's capital punishment. They hung people because they couldn't have them destroy the growth of the economy.